Welcome to another episode of the Two for One podcast. I'm your host, Dion, and alongside me, as always, my fellow co hosts, Nate and Mitch, are here, recording here on Monday night, which means that by the time this episode comes out, we will be one full week into the NBA season. 7 days have come and gone, believe it or not. And so we're here to talk about just, the biggest standout players, both on the positive and negative side. Just some players that have really stood out to us in this early going, three, maybe 4 games in, depending on who's playing tonight. So we'll jump right in. We each got one guy that we're really high on for the start of the season, one guy that we're pretty low on based on their early returns. And so, which one of you fellows want to kick us off?
Um, Mitch, I'll let you do the honors. Ladies first.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks, man. I think to start, we'll start with the pessimism first because we
Ooh.
always like to end on a high note. I was kind of flip-flopping between two guys. The first name that was going to be on my brain was going to be Desmond Bain,
Mm.
because I just think Orlando as a whole has had like kind of a rough start, and then I was like, wait, no, that's not fair because if Orlando has a rough start, coincidentally, their star players will. So instead, I'll switch to the team that one of their star duos has not had a rough start. I'm going to say Miles Turner has been a little bit of a disappointment to me to start the season. I genuinely thought because of the Bucks makeup that a guy who is going to be just like sprayed to the corner for like 20 possessions out of a game because Giannis just collapses like a black hole, that he was just going to have some easy cleanup points, that because of the loss of Mr. Lopez, that there were going to be obvious routes to just double doubles it like night in night out for Miles Turner.
Oh,
And
double digit rebounds for Miles Turner. That's asking a lot. That's a
well, on this
lot.
on this Bucks team, it genuinely made no sense for all the gaps to be filled when like Miles Turner would be the guy that you're like, okay, you know what? There's chances and opportunities here for those things to happen, and it just hasn't. Miles Turner has been a bit of a stinker, if I might call that, because
That's putting it nicely, I think, actually.
I mean he hasn't been deplorable. I
Well,
think
from three he has been deplorable.
yeah, we're also 3 games in. Emmanuel quickly shooting 11% from
Well,
three,
yeah,
but
actually,
like
well,
huge.
apparently, according to
Equally
Raptors
deplorable.
Twitter, Emmanuel Quickly is like the second coming of Joseph Stalin. So,
That's what I mean. Like where everybody's gonna have
yeah, okay,
insane
you're
overreactions.
right,
It's
you're
been
right, you're
three
right.
games, but
I
that's why we're
digress.
calling. That's why it's a stock market. It's volatile. That's why it's a decline, not a sell all your stocks. Your value's going down. We're not saying to dip completely, but Miles has just been a little bit less than what I expected out of him. Because in terms of this offense, I don't know how much of Bucks media or games in general you guys have been consuming. But while Giannis has looked fantastic, the team as a whole has been like largely disengaged around him. And as cool as it is to watch Cole Anthony go out there and just kind of be like, "Hey man, go hoop because that's what you can do." The Bucks have just been very like lackadaisical outside of like a few little blips here. The Cavs game was interesting. I don't know if you guys tuned in.
I saw Donovan Mitchell do his best to just completely win the game by himself. He did win the game. No.
Cavs
Who
won, yeah.
won? I honestly I stopped watching before the final whistle.
The Raptors Bucks was largely just Yak not being able to guard Giannis in open space, and the Cavs was just like an absolute masterclass of like timely shots from Morale and Mitchell. So it's like you take what you can there, but the Bucks as a whole just kind of looked like tomorrow against the Knicks. I have no reservations about like just watching Cat do dances around this defense because their inside defense, aside from Giannis doing like the weak side cleanup, has been absolutely shit. It's been god awful. I don't know if you want to attribute that to like Bobby Portis having a dip. I don't know if like Kuzma's ever going to be a
Hasn't Bobby
competent
Portis
help
been
side.
out?
He's been in and out. Bobby Portis has played 20-ish. I don't know, whatever game that I watched where he kind of just shit the bed a bunch, but he only dropped 11 on the Raptors, 5 for 13, played 23 minutes. They didn't need him, but he's been coming off the bench pretty frequently. So I don't know what the plan for Bobby is. I honestly thought he was going to be taking that next step as well, and he didn't. So I guess you could just say that the Bucks, despite having a positive record, have just been largely disappointing outside of Giannis.
I think that's fair. I mean, I like the amount of spacing. We talked about this with Kevin
Yeah, we
yesterday.
just thought, yeah.
I like the amount of spacing that they have. Like Gary Trent has gotten off to a pretty good start and he's shooting like 12 threes a game. So that aspect I do like, but yeah, on the defensive end, it's been a little uninspiring, I would say. Like it is a lot of like you were talking about, like the Giannis cleanup stuff. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, Miles Turner hasn't necessarily stood out to me as being negative. Obviously, like he's not shooting the ball well at all. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's something to definitely look towards because I do think Milwaukee is going to have to bank on Miles Turner being really good defensively to kind of like hold together because on the perimeter, there's not much. Like Cole Anthony, Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent, like none of those guys are really stoppers.
The
So there's gonna be
security
plenty of
guard, the meme where the security guard just goes like he
yeah,
just
just
like
kind of like brush it. Yeah, like
brushes his
there's
arms.
going to be paint touches galore for teams that play against the Bucks. So there's going to be a lot on Miles Turner's shoulders to defend the paint there. So we'll see how that progresses. That one will be pretty interesting to me because, like we were talking about with Kevin, I see the potential for this Bucks team to be very competitive in the regular season. Like just what they have around Giannis is the right type of pieces between like what Miles Turner should be and then all the shooting that they have. But if he's
It's
not going
it's
to be able to hold it
it's an
down,
improved makeup. They just needed a tier above
yeah.
of the actual quality that they have, and that's the problem. Is like you don't have that. Like you needed the idea of Kyle Kuzma, but a better version of Kyle Kuzma. You needed Gary Trent Jr. Yeah, he's taking 10 a game, but he's only hitting 33% right now. So you got to like figure out which iteration of those players like gets that level up. Like maybe AJ Green is the answer. Maybe telling him just fucking go out there and launch that shit. Like I don't know. There's certain things about this, like you said, the makeup of the team is there. It's just the names go, okay, if you were just like the next evolution of this player, that I would be so much
Mm.
more sold on Milwaukee.
Do you guys know Miles Turner's nickname, according to Basketball Reference, is Samurai Miles?
I don't think that anybody in the history of ever has told Miles
Top
Turner.
10 most irrelevant pieces of information I've ever been told in my life.
I am so confused where that might have come from. There are a couple random ones on Basketball Reference, but Samurai Miles, I don't know. I thought that one was interesting.
I don't, yeah, I honestly, when I watch the Bucks, I've been like, okay, it's just Giannis dragging a bunch of pieces again. The shooting is nice, but the defense, I don't know. Miles Turner individually hasn't stood out to me, and I was like, Miles Turner's been really bad. The biggest thing with me that I've noticed is he's just not hitting his shots, which I expect will fall at a certain point. Asking him to anchor that defense in the first place is unrealistic because Miles Turner is one of those guys whose defensive reputation exceeds who he actually is as a defender. He's a good shot blocker. He's gonna steer some guys away from the paint. But when it comes to also finishing off defensive possessions, getting the rebounds, Giannis is the only guy on that team who I am confident in grabbing a board and finishing off a defensive possession. So I wasn't high on Miles Turner to begin with, so I don't think I'm really all that disappointed by him right now.
Yeah, and he had a couple good moments during the playoff run, but there was also a lot of spots throughout last year's playoffs where he kind of either just disappeared or was just flat out bad.
He was the one
So
guy in that Knicks series when I was watching every single game where I was like, he's just legitimately playing bad. Where they're almost had better moments when Thomas Bryant had a flash or two of being good in that series. Even when they brought in fucking Tony Bradley, there was moments when he was better than Miles Turner for them.
I don't know if I can
There
get all
were,
the way
I
there.
promise.
I
I'm
mean,
not
yeah,
saying
the Tony.
consistently it was better, but Miles Turner is not someone I thought should be getting anywhere in the ballpark of the money he was given in the first place. It's just because he's this idea of, oh, he blocks shots and shoot threes. Giannis.
One
I
thing
don't
I'm
know.
noticing.
I've never been a big Miles Turner guy. I hate bigs that can't rebound the basketball.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. Brooke Lopez was just a better version of Miles Turner. He's just older.
Yeah, no, he was declining as well. I
But
don't
when you
know.
talk about defense and actually being able to anchor a defense, Brooke Lopez is much better, is much more equipped to do that than Miles Turner ever has been.
I don't know. I do think like Miles Turner has that defensive reputation because I feel like at one time he was approaching like all defensive level type of center, but it just very quickly dropped off after that, and he's just carried that reputation ever since. But biggest thing I noticed when I watched the Bucks, and I haven't watched a ton, it's just been like pieces of the three games so far. I don't feel like I'll have to look it up, but I don't feel like they get to the line whatsoever. I'm gonna look up where they kind of rank in free throws, but I feel like obviously Giannis is getting his, but because it's just kind of like a bunch of shooters around him, I think they're gonna struggle to really generate those easy points at the line. And yeah, I just saw it. Where'd it go? Yeah, they're 24th in attempts, 29th in percentage right now. Um, yeah, and that's primarily coming just from Giannis. So that's kind of what I worry about with the Bucks. I don't know if it's just like enough. Like Mitch was saying, it's like the right sorts of names and everything. I just don't know if it's actually good enough to get the job done. As I'm watching Sadiq Bey, oh my God, he's actually just blew a layup. Sorry, just I got the Celtics game in the background. But
Speaking
yeah,
of, if you see my eyes veering off, it's Monday night. This is being recorded on, so football is going on. Um, Unfortunately, I'm a Commanders fan, so yeah.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah. But I'll switch to more of a positive gear. I want to talk about someone who's really stood out to me. And I know I'm far from the only one that has been thinking about this, but AJ Mitchell of the OKC Thunder, I have just been amazed just by the fact that he has just come seemingly out of nowhere to just be a high quality rotation player. Like, this is someone that hardly cracked the rotation for the team last year. He played 36 games for the team last year. He plays 14 minutes in the opening game, drops 16 points, and Mark Daigneault goes, "Oh, well, maybe we could use this guy." And he immediately plays 38 minutes in the second game, goes off for 26 points. It's just amazing to me. Like, OKC, this is just another prime example, and we're going to continue to get these examples as time goes on of them just plugging and playing, filling out the rotation with their excess of draft picks. This is just a prime example. Like, he just plugs in. Like Caruso's been out. J Dub obviously hasn't played yet this season. This team is lacking backcourt depth at the moment. In comes AJ Mitchell, and it's just we're good to go. Like, he's just filling right in, being exactly what they need from him. It's just been incredible what OKC has in terms of depth. Like, they were missing, I think, 7 guys in their last game. You hardly even notice it. It still looks like they have a full rotation of guys. So the embarrassment of riches, I think, is the overall arching point. But AJ Mitchell is definitely the highlight in terms of OKC just having insane amount of talent.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who I almost picked, but I didn't want to double up and copy you and talk about the same player because that'd be kind of boring. He's one of those dudes that just is a glue guy offensively, or maybe he can be more than that, but the guy shoots really well. He's a capable passer. He can fill the lane when you're running in transition. He's good enough defensively. I don't think he's standout, but in a team full of OKC players that all stand out
Right.
defensively, it's really hard to be one of those standout defenders. He's good enough on that end, like I said. He just does a bit of everything, and that's kind of a theme with the players that OKC seems to draft and
Hmm.
seems to bring in and develop. Casey Wall is a guard that can kind of give you a little bit of everything. AJ Mitchell can give you a little bit of everything. Aaron Wiggins can give you a little bit of everything. There's like J Dub, even their second best player, can give you a little bit of everything. Like, they have a clear blueprint with what they want to do with having players be able to fill in multiple roles. Some nights AJ Mitchell's going to be a spot up shooter. Some nights he might be more of a ball handler depending on who's
Hmm.
out. I think he's a really versatile piece, and for them to have gotten him in, the late second round, he was a late second round pick, right? Wasn't he like in the
He
50s?
was,
Your team actually took him second
No,
round. The
they
yes,
Knicks,
didn't take. They took him for OKC.
yeah.
yeah, he was the 38th pick.
But it was, yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
2024 second round. And it's crazy to me that actually, like, so when you say came out of nowhere, he had quite a pretty prestigious collegiate career, despite it being like D2, that I would say like more
Mhm.
like he was incredibly gifted as a scorer. And I know that he's not going to be looked upon to do that like in OKC system in general, but
Why would they
big
give SGA the ball when they have AJ Mitchell?
I
exactly.
meant no, I just meant coming out of nowhere as far as like he hardly cracked the rotation last year
Yeah.
for
Well, that's
OKC.
Dude,
but
summer
are
league
we
though.
surprised? Are we surprised
Mm.
of the same Presti masterclass at this point?
No,
Like,
I'm not
No, I
surprised.
guess I'm
We're
just
just
more
more.
surprised just how
yeah.
immediate
I'm
he plugs
admiring
in.
it actually. I'm
Yeah.
just really
Yeah.
appreciating the greatness of Sam Presti and his.
Yeah, I just mean because in those 36 games from last year, he definitely showed flashes. Like, I definitely saw him play a couple times, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is a legit NBA
This is the
guy. Like,
worst
there's no
football
doubt
team I've
about him
ever
here.
seen.
What'd you say?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, Commanders.
He's having
Oh boy.
There's dude. Okay, so what just happened? I don't want. I won't talk about this too much, but he literally before this just happened, the Chiefs are probably going to score here on this drive. Debo Samuel, 5 feet from him, he's on my fantasy team too. Ball hits him in the fucking face through his hands, and they pick it off because it literally goes off of his head, and they intercepted it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's it.
those
No
are the
more
where, yeah,
football talk. The
deflection
rest.
interceptions are so
You know,
frustrating.
shout out Chris Paul of the Washington Commanders.
He's actually good too. Chris
I
Paul's a
know
good.
that's yeah.
Oh, wait, that's a real thing. There's a guy
Yeah,
named
Chris
Chris Paul.
Paul's
Yeah,
our
Chris
left
Paul is a
guard,
guard.
and
I was
he's
gonna
one of
say
the most athletic offensive linemen in the league. He's actually pretty good.
Wow.
it's weird because he's only like 25 or 24, right? Like, he's a
No, I
younger.
think he's not old, but I think he's drafted like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. I just saw I think he's one of like the like more built guys I've seen when he's in like the warm-ups because I think he's like 6'2", but he's like 315 or something. Like he's a boy, all right?
Welcome to the
That
Fuming
motherfucker
Football Podcast.
that motherfucker is built.
Oh, anyway, back to basketball. Yeah, AJ Mitchell, like I saw him last year play and thought he was solid, but just the fact that he's plugging into the rotation, like he's playing 30 plus minutes a night, just immediately is a contributor, averaging 19 a game. Like, it's just amazing
Well,
what OKC's able to do.
next thing that'll happen is Nikola Topic will finally start playing, and
Yeah,
he'll average
exactly.
like
Yeah.
10, 10, and 10 for his first.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then Thomas Sorber's going to actually be good after I had
Thomas
like
Sorber's going to be
zero
just
stock in him.
Miles Turner that can rebound.
Well, yeah, that would make total sense. Yeah, but shout out AJ Mitchell.
Okay, now
I
let's
think,
do. Tell me your negative one. Let's have the negativity. Let's
well, who's
shit on
your?
a
We didn't
player.
get to hear either of
Oh,
yours.
Did Mitch go with? Oh, he went
Mi-
positive for. No, I thought he was ending on a
Mitch went
positive.
negative. I went positive. So you can go either way you want.
Oh, okay. What about like in the middle? What can I be like?
Are you feeling super average
What am I
What
about
feeling
it?
super? You know,
about in the
you know what I'm
middle?
feeling super like lukewarm about is Derek Lively is just having like a really like Derek
He's
Lively-esque
running a
season
really
so
okay
far.
season right now. No, who
Um,
do you got?
I think I guess I'll go positive too then to match you so I can save my shitty negativeness for the end.
Sure, sure.
But for me, the positive is Jonathan Kuminga, and he was a guy who we talked about a lot because of how long it took for the contract situation to be resolved. But I wasn't as high on him as I am now because of the way he was being used in the Warrior system the past few years. But it finally seems like they paid him, and he's become a somewhat of a focal point. Oh my God, Marshawn Lattimore picked it off. He's so. Oh my God, he's awful. How did he do that? Okay, but regardless, Jonathan Kuminga has been really good in basically every facet. He's been good defensively. The Warriors overall have just impressed me, so I could talk about them for a while, and not because I wasn't high on them either. Jonathan Kuminga as a scorer has been really impressive. They're using him as someone they've given the ball to, not just, putting in spots and using as a cutter or somebody off the ball. He's been good on and off the ball. His three-point shooting has been better than I expected it to be. He's rebounding the ball really well. He's kind of molding into that fit that he was supposed to be coming out of college, where he was supposed or coming out of Ignite, where he wasn't a college player, but
Mhm.
after the G League, he was supposed to be this the Giannis comps I think were lazy, but this freak of nature, 6'8", 6'9", do it all, wing slash forward, put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, also shoot a little bit, play good defense. We're finally seeing that from him, and maybe a whole offseason with Jimmy helped him because Jimmy's kind of
Yeah.
a player who he can look to model his game after to a certain extent. I really like Jonathan Kuminga, and I'm seeing all of that future perennial all-star potential come back into his game. He's really, really good, and he's doing it right now as a third fiddle.
Yeah, the Jimmy Butler piece of it, I think, has been the biggest difference. Kerr has been talking about this a lot, actually,
Yeah.
saying how like Butler really took him under his wing, would like pull him to the side during training camp a lot, and really tell him like, "Hey, like this is your role. This is what we need from you." That's really what Kerr has been
And
saying a
that
lot in the
that
media.
brings
So
me to another point is that for his whole career, the Jimmy thing has been, oh, he's a bad team, he's a good team, he's a locker room cancer, he's a great mentor. You know what? Two things can be true at once, and it can all depend on the situation. On a certain team where things are going sour and there's not good vibes, is Jimmy the guy you want to have around to try to lift things back up and turn them around? Probably not. He's not going to be that espresso shot that you need to get things going again.
I
But if you're
like
a
that.
team that was lacking it in the first place and you get him in, then he can be a player that just revamps an organization. That's what he's done for the Warriors since they got him last season. Even though it was a really easy stretch of games that they went on that win streak or that really good stretch of games, now through these first three or so contests, I'm kind of convinced that the Warriors might be back as a top contender out west.
well, I mean, they looked pretty impressive in the first two games. Shout out to Tiago Splitter getting his first win as a head coach. They put Bell to ass. Got a nice
Shout
20
out
point win.
Tiago Splitter. The
But
only shout out he's gotten on a pod in the last decade.
yeah, exactly. But my only concern with the Kaminga fit, because it has been very nice in the early going. I just wonder how long is it gonna last. Like it's been good so far. It's been like everything we could have hoped for
Real,
if you were
real,
like
real
high on Kaminga.
skepticism. I understand it.
Yeah, I just do I trust Kerr at by the time we get to like game 36, he's still gonna feel that way about
How big
Kaminga?
is
I don't know.
the
I have
question?
hesitations.
The question is how big the leash is going to be because the minute Jonathan
That's what I
Kuminga,
mean.
he's going to have
Yeah.
a poor stretch of games. It just is about do you have the confidence and do you have
Yeah.
the patience to be like, okay, you're still a pretty young player. You're going to have rough spots. We're going to let you grow through them and become a better player because of it. I think we look at the Wemby thing now, and obviously Jonathan Kuminga is not Victor Wembanyama, but with the Wemby thing and the shooting threes and everyone talking about his shot selection, when in hindsight now it was very clearly growth related, and that it was just in order to get him used to those kind of difficult shots and help it for the rest of his game for the rest of his career because they knew they weren't contending last year. Obviously, the Warriors want to win games, but Jonathan Kuminga is not a player who I think is going to just lose you games because he's not playing all that well. When the rough spot comes, I really hope that they stay patient, but it wouldn't surprise me if Steve Kerr goes, okay, you're going back to the left bench.
Yeah, that's my only concern about it as far as how the rest of the season is gonna play out. But he is exactly what they need. Like they need his interjection of athleticism from that forward position. And so I hope that Kerr has the patience to deal with him throughout the season. I just, I've been hearing a lot about like, oh, Kuminga, it's been great. I'm more worried about the Steve Kerr side of it as
Well,
far
that's
as like
why
staying patient.
these are early reactions and it's only three
Yeah.
games into the season. Could Jonathan Kuminga have the worst three next games of basketball history and then get demolished in his role and sent to 3 minutes a game? Sure, that could happen. Where you live in a world where we wake up and see Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier being sent to federal prison investigations. So
Yeah,
anything
I've
is
been looking more
possible.
into that, by the way. They're cooked.
Yeah,
They're all
yes.
cooked. I pray for their sake that they don't try to deny it because it's only going to make it worse for
The
them.
Clippers
They
might need a
are.
new coach too soon.
Yeah, I heard Ty Lue is also involved. So yeah,
Mitch,
I think
which
this is just
what side of the fence do you fall on for JK?
What do you mean, what
look,
side of the
I mean,
fence?
I will admit, Dion. I'm more optimistic about it. Dion's more skeptical. Are you? Which side are you on?
I mean, I actively employ him across three leagues, so I want Jonathan Kaminga as a human being to realize, okay, you are not going to be the superstar Nova player on any team that wants to win games. Can you do the bare minimum to be like, okay, least I could be is that fringe, or at least I can try to be a fringe all-star-esque player for a team that can win games? Can I put my head down, do the dirty, like gritty work that people were complaining that I didn't want to do, and then eventually prove to Steve Kerr that the leash should be a little longer? Like belt to ass, you mentioned Portland. Why did he only play 22 minutes there? You know,
mhm.
if they were getting absolutely dog walked, why not be like, okay, you know what, come bucket, you showed me in 33 minutes what you can do. There's no consequence to this game. Go out there and give me some high energy, like 8 minutes closing. Instead, Kerr was like, nope, nope, get down here, polish that bench with your ass. Like, I don't fucking care. I want Jonathan Kaminga because there's been so many flashes where I'm like, ooh, you learn not to take the 16-foot turnaround with the hand
Mm.
in your face. You took the 8-footer now. Ooh, you put your shoulder down and went to the basket. And then he does it again. He'll take one dribble in, 19 seconds left on the clock, and he'll just rise up with a man on his face. And I'm like, 3 possessions ago, you did three things perfect in a row, and then 2 possessions in a row after that, you decided to do the things that got you benched in the first place. Where is the mental disconnect between doing really well inside of what you're given as a role and then being like, huh, I want to be Cam Thomas. I want to be Michael Porter Jr. Let me shoot this shot. Like I just don't get it. And he was relatively efficient. I mean, the loss isn't a good retrospect, but like 4 for 7, 1 for 2, 7 for 7 from the line. Like in 22 minutes, those are good splits, especially because he wasn't out there actively hunting his shot. Can he do that across 70 game sample size? Is what I've yet to see from this young man. So I'm holding everything out on him. I'm not going to say that I want to like go out to the polls and buy more Kaminga stock, or I'm going to say dump it all because Kerr's eventually going to just be like, I like Moses Moody when he's healthy over your ass. So I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
the other thing too. Moses Moody has been out. I don't know how much that factors into the role that Kuminga is getting right now. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm
Moses
optimistic in
Modi.
this in the sense that like I can see it. Like I think that it can work out. My concern is more about Steve Kerr, I think, than Kuminga really.
I mean,
What's going
yeah, I think what I was saying though, in why I'm just really glad or positively thinking about Kaminga or watching Kaminga right now is because for the first time since he's really been a Warrior, I think he looks like he fits into the offense, and it's not him just trying to get his own or trying to create something and prove his value. He is integrating himself into the system. Like Mitch said, though, there is seemingly a disconnect from possession to possession, which mentality he wants to have. But I
Mhm.
have seen through the first 3 games, there has been enough flashes for me to be like, okay, he's playing within this offense, and he knows clearly what the Warriors offense wants to do. I do have more of a hope that he can fit into that because of he's had a whole offseason under Jimmy because of what Steve Kerr's been saying about Jimmy taking him under his wing, and I'm hoping that that also makes Steve Kerr trust him more because I know Steve Kerr trusts Jimmy so much.
Fair.
I,
Yeah.
I will give him this one flower right now that already across a 3 game sample size from Kaminga that I've seen, he has already given more of those Curry coming screeching off the left wing pin down and hitting him at the top in stride than he did the entirety of last
Mm.
season. Already 3 games in, he's making those reads, and any pass you can get off of a Curry trailing a pin down is probably going to generate an assist for you. So if you can continue to do like that one play a handful of times a game, it opens up wonders for Kerr to be like, all right, young man, maybe I'll give you one more link on the chain that I'm keeping you on. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Fair enough. All right, I will go to my negative, and then Nate, you'll do your negative. Mitch, wrap us up with a positive so we can end on a high note, like you said. So, unfortunately, the negative for me, it is unfortunately my guy, Derek White. And I think this one's pretty simple. Like this one doesn't warrant like a huge discussion because, for one, I don't think it'll be this bad for the whole season. But it's pretty obvious what's going on. Like he just needs to adjust to like playing without the gravity of Tatum around him. It's kind of eye-opening to me like how much he does sort of rely on that to create his offense. Because with him, like he's been taking the ball up the court a lot more, like being more of a point guard. I feel like he normally plays more of like an off-ball guard type of role with the Celtics. He's been, having more on-ball duties, and it has not been very good. It's just too much. Like there's just too much on his plate as far as creation. Like he's taken 20 shots, 18 shots, and 18 shots. You guys know how many times last season that he took more than 20 shots in a game?
Never.
One time.
Or one
One time.
time.
He took 26 shots against the Blazers in March.
Hey, he's launching the most threes he's ever done in his entire career.
Yeah, and that's going to continue. I just hope it's not at a 28% clip.
Yeah.
It's not going to get the job done.
Is he up
I
to
do think
12
it'll.
yet, or is it still
What'd you say?
is it up to 12 threes a game, or is it like
He's taken
around?
13, 11, and 11. So he's just
Oh,
on
so
an
just
average of
under.
12.
All right.
Yeah, but I think he'll get there, honestly. Like I can see it, and like I think it will correct a little bit. I think it's just a matter of just like having a slow start to the season. But it has been pretty eye-opening just to see like how many opportunities are not there for him that they usually would be. As far as like there's so many times a game where like looking at last season, the year before, where Derek White just catches like a wide open wing three, and it's just like that's going in because he's a
Yeah.
good shooter and he's getting a wide open look. And now it's like you got to create that look, and it doesn't look the same.
I was gonna say I
I
really want to already. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna rescind my Derek White All Star prediction card. Like now, ASAP, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's not just because I think the Celtics are gonna be horrible and the Celtics are horrible. Derek White just doesn't have the on-ball creation chops that I maybe was overconfident in him having. If he had Anthony
Oh.
Simons ball handling and self-creation ability, I think you would maybe have that
Mhm.
conversation. But Derek White just clearly to me isn't that type of player. He is the perfect complementary ball handler, the perfect complementary shooter. He's the perfect complementary everything. He just isn't the guy.
hmm Yeah,
Speaking
and
of complimentary, your boy Pritchard hasn't looked too hot either.
yeah, there's a lot that the Celtics need to figure out right now. I'm not too worried about it yet because
I
they've
was
at
told
least
that Peyton Pritchard
You're
would average 25
you're
points per
not
game and be an
hey,
you're
all-star.
not you're not worried about 18% from three across 3 games? You're not worried about Pritchard having
I'm
seemingly
look,
no confidence and taking his man off the dribble? You're
yeah,
not worried that
well,
Simons looks way better than I thought he would run off the bench for something? Like I'm just
I'm
we
definitely
talked
not worried about
about
Simons looking good. I just think the Celtics in general, it's clear that like they don't have any idea who they are
clear that
yet.
they
But I will
suck.
say at the very least, they have been competitive in the 3 games. Like it's not like they're getting dog walked by anyone. So that is at least encouraging to be like, okay,
Got
like there's
walked down by
something.
VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, no, that was very
They got-
uninspiring. And then
they
like
got
watching them blow the lead against the Pistons, just watching like getting off to such a hot start, and then in typical Celtics fashion, actually,
Again,
just kind of
the
like
first 20
slowly giving
minutes
up.
of
Yeah,
Celtics basketball is
yeah.
euphoric for you as a fan.
Mhm.
It's the corresponding second half, or you know what? We probably you probably aired it out yesterday with Jalen Brown probably going to Turkey soon, but like that's fucking crazy, man.
Did you
Like
see
Yeah,
that
all
Ron?
over,
OG, and then the
all
Ron Holland one too.
Yeah, he got Ron
all
Holland.
over, all over, like white, pristine, crisp jersey, like what do you do after that? Like what is the mental
Well,
like
he also
gymnastics of being like, oh shit, my Crayola hairline is rubbed off. Like what? Like how do you come back from that? Tell me.
Yeah,
Give me
I
give me the propaganda as to why we shouldn't just you know like flame Jalen Brown for the
I
rest
got
of.
nothing for you. I got nothing for you whatsoever.
I mean,
It's one thing to happen once, but for it to happen
he
the
could
very next
rock.
game is
He
just
can rock being bald, bro. He has a thick ass beard. Like just
yeah, it shouldn't be that bad.
or I mean,
I don't know.
even without it, like it looks, it's thin. It's a thin buzz cut, brother. Like just keep it as it is. You don't need to fucking put Sharpie powder in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say though, Jalen Suggs is rocking the bald look, and we all have been saying for him to
Nah,
do that for
he
a long
doesn't. He
time.
does not pull it
It
off,
looks
dude.
weird. It
I
doesn't
It's
did
look
because
not
right.
realize that he
it's
actually. I need to see a
it's
picture
because
of
his
this.
head shape is kind of little
Yeah,
like
it's a mess. It's a mess. It's almost like I kind of want him to bring the hair back. It's not good. It worked out very well for Derek White. He looks completely natural to just be bald. Jalen Suggs, I
It did
saw
not
him
look
flash on the
natural to me at
screen.
first. I'll keep it 150% honest with you.
It's not great.
I
But as far
thought,
as the Celtics in general, like Derek White is the one that stands out to me to like, oh wow, like this is going to be much more difficult for him than I thought. The rest of the team, like they'll figure some things out. Like, I think they'll still be a pretty competitive team. I have faith in Missoula to like get the most out of them.
yeah,
It's
sure
just
you
going to
do.
take some time because like we have to figure out who can actually play and who not. Like Hugo Walsh started against the Pistons or Hugo Walsh. I'm
I was
combining
gonna say,
names.
what the
I'm
fuck did you just say?
I'm
Who the
sorry.
fuck is Hugo
Yeah.
Hugo
Walsh?
Hugo Gonzalez started, and he looks pretty good. Like he's definitely just an energy guy at this point. But I have a lot of faith in
I
his
liked him
potential.
in the game I saw him against the Knicks.
Yeah,
That was the only full Celtics game I've watched so far because I will keep it 150% honest. The
yeah,
Celtics are at the very bottom of my teams to watch list this season.
yeah, as they should.
So, yeah, I think the Celtics are just a bad team. It's what it is this year. There isn't really any way to beat around the bush. Derek White is a good player who's not good enough to take a bad team to a playoff spot.
Right.
Anthony Simons is probably the best player, is probably going to be the best player on the Celtics, I think, this season if he eventually gets more minutes. I think in the role that they're being given, he is a better player than Derek White if you're asking a guy to go out and lead a team in scoring every night or at least be a pseudo number one option. I don't want Anthony Simons as my number one option. But in terms of coasting through the regular season, Derek White
There
is
are worse guys to have. Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
Like if you could
I
figure
just
out
hope
the
that
defense well enough, you could get away with Anthony Simons and Jaylen Brown being your 1A and 2B and make the play in.
yeah, I
But
just
I
hope
think
that they are able to figure it out one way or the other. Like I need them to either like get into at least the plan or playoffs or whatever, and like Tatum has a legitimate opportunity to play some games that
well, that's
mean
not gonna you
something.
can keep
I'm
living in
sorry,
that
buddy.
la
I'm
la
sorry,
fantasy
buddy.
fucking
I don't
land.
know if I would just be happy with getting run in to get Simons like integrated and see if he's going to be a part of your
Well,
future.
that's what no, that's what I mean. Is like I just hope that
Okay.
they're at least competitive enough to where like there's 10 games left in the season and it makes sense for Tatum to play because I know he's going to be ready to. Neemias Queta just shot a three. Oh, just kidding. That was Boucher. Yeah, I just hope that they're at least competitive enough to where Tatum can play, or they're bad enough to where like AJ Debance is like a legitimate option. If they do anything like in between there, if they're just like stuck as like the 11 seed, like that is just going to be a
Be
disaster.
prepared
I
for
just
the
hope we don't end up
13th
with
pick, buddy.
Well,
what's that?
Wemby is fucking frying us right now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you brought it up. That's on you,
Yeah.
man.
All right, so we'll continue on, I guess, with my negative player, and then we'll wrap up with the sunshine and rainbows from Mitch that he's gonna spew from his face hole.
Yippee!
Um, for my disappointing player is going to be Dyson Daniels. And this
Mm.
is someone who we talked about a lot last season. We were very high on last season. We were just overall very much on the Dyson Daniels hype train, him being a defensive player of the year candidate. Maybe not legitimate candidate, but someone that emerged as one of the best defenders in the NBA. Steals, deflection numbers, absolutely insane. And for through the first few games, he looks like poopy garbage.
He
I don't know how else really to describe it other than those eloquent words that I just used. He has been awful offensively, genuinely a guy that makes you play 4 on 5 on offense at times. He hasn't shot the ball well. He has been, not confident in his finding his own looks. He kind of looks lost offensively. The whole Hawks offense looks like it's discombobulated in general. He has not helped that defensively, I think people overrated how good he was last year, or not overrated how good he was last year, but in general, he's not the defensive stopper that a lot of people might think he is. He's not shutting down opposing star players night in and night out. He's not that Herb Jones, OG Anunoby, Jaden McDaniels type where it's just, okay, I'm going to go shut this guy down. He's a really solid team defender. He just doesn't stand out to me enough on the Hawks team. And offensively, he was really raw coming into the league. He took a really big leap offensively last year in terms of scoring and efficiency. It would not shock me if we see him regress this year.
Yeah, he looks inept offensively. Like he looks like even worse version of what he was doing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's concerning. Like it's not like oh the shot's not falling or what. Like he just like you said, like it looks like they're playing 4 on 5 with him offensively. Like I just don't know what he contributes to this point to this Hawks offense, and they need it. Like Trey Young's great and all. Like he's obviously one of the best high volume sort of engines as far as offensive production goes. But like they need someone else to create some offense, and we were expecting that to be Dyson Daniels. It's been really weird. Like he just doesn't seem to have any confidence in his shot. But even not even shooting the ball, like anytime he gets the ball in his hands, like I feel like he doesn't really know what to do with it in a way that looks like, he went from intriguing young player, we'll see what he's got for upside in his second year in New Orleans to then being the most improved player. It looks like he took a step back from that second year in New Orleans. Like he's regressed from there. So I still have some faith in him in general as a player, but yeah, very concerning to see like how he's performed in the first few games.
Yeah, it's almost like he might be part of the underground gambling ring and they're betting on his unders every single night.
Dyson Daniels, part of the gambling ring. I can see it. The Australian dollar is probably not doing too strong right now. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like
So
completely out. Like I know you're Nate. It feels like you're kind of ready to like
I'm
bank
not
on him.
out. I just think that he might have already peaked offensively last season.
Mm.
I didn't ever see him being. I thought last season offensively where he was at was more than I ever expected him to even be at in his career probably. I did not expect him to become a 13, 14 point per game scorer who could also be, a tertiary ball handler or a guy that sometimes it is a lead or lead ball handler in a pick and roll. He became the guy who when Trey didn't have the ball in his hands, it was often in Dyson Daniels' hands last year. This year there is a list of probably 3 to 5 players who I would not want the ball in their hands the most, and I think Dyson Daniels is on that list so far this season.
Yeah, I just don't really know much what he does. He's got 7 assists, 7 turnovers through 3 games, and is obviously not scoring the ball well. I don't really know what, like, if I was Dyson Daniels'
He's
coach, like,
like
what?
offensively, if you took away Josh Giddey's feel and playmaking ability and also made him a worse shooter
Yikes. Well,
and
yeah.
and and a worse rebounder.
So he just sucks. Yeah, no,
Take away everything Josh Giddey does well offensively, and that's Dyson Daniels.
it's not been good. But I'm not
Offensively, not
necessarily, I'm not ready to say like this is who he's going to be this season.
no, I'm not
But
either, but I am saying that I would, if I was a betting man, I would bet that he has at least somewhat of an offensive regression this year. I think what we saw from
mm,
him last year offensively, at least this early, was uncharacteristic.
yeah, I'd be willing to bet, if nothing else, that I definitely drafted him way too high in fantasy. That much is for sure. I think you can say that about a lot of players on my fantasy team. We're looking pretty bad right now, but
I
that
drafted
is
Bradley Beal, so you can feel better about something.
that's true. He's already been dropped by like 3 teams in our league. Yeah, no, it's been concerning. I'm obviously a huge Dyson Daniels fan, so still rooting for him, still hoping that he can get back
Yeah,
to.
you have that pair of Dyson Daniels underwear you got last season, right?
I'm wearing him right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like to expect like some level of regression from last year is definitely expected, but this has been concerning with a
Mamma
capital C.
Mia.
Yeah, not great. But Mitch, wrap us up here with a more
I
positive
mean,
note,
sorry, I
lighthearted
just
note.
want to preface with Daniels here. It is only 3 games. All
Of
right.
course,
Like
yeah.
we'll circle back at the 30 game mark before,
Hmm.
you
Yes,
start
no,
dumping his
like
stats.
again, to everyone who's watching this, all of these are exaggerated, but some of these things are, or some of these players are guys who we had this opinion about potentially being this way coming into the season. Like I
Yeah.
expected Dyson Daniels to be worse than he was last season, and I wasn't high on the Hawks as a whole. And so
That's
far
playing out, yeah.
he is
Yeah.
exactly he's
Like
playing
if
into
if
what.
there's anybody who's going to be like, "Oh, the Hebrew Hammer is hating to hate," it's like, no, no, no. He had this is just a prediction coming to fruition at this point. Like
Yeah,
this isn't
could I be
Nate
wrong?
calling out Dyson Daniels.
In a month or two, I could be wrong, and Dyson Daniels could be well on his way to another all defensive selection and a nice 10-5-4 season or whatever, and the Hawks are a good team. Do I think that's gonna happen? Fuck no.
Yeah, it seems excuse me, it seems way more realistic they're gonna end up right around 500 like the Hawks like to do.
Ah!
There's a spider on his desk.
What
There's a spider or
Holy
no.
fuck, there's a huge ass spider. Oh my
Yeah, look
god.
at
That
that.
was
Look at
so scary,
I'm
bro.
in the Matrix. I can
what the
predict
fuck?
all that happens. What did I say? What did I say?
I'm
Oh
finishing the
man.
episode like this,
Fucking
dude.
clip that.
Wow, Nate
I'm
Arachnophobia Taylor.
I'm
Wow.
so no.
Nah,
Hey,
he's
hey, hey,
playing. I
hey,
don't
hey.
care.
When a
Call
big
me.
ass hairy fucking spider crawls across your floor and you don't notice it until it's already underneath your chair, you
It
would
was
act the
on my
same way,
foot.
Mr.
No, it was on
Sherman.
my fucking foot. It was like
Oh, it
right
crawled over
next
your
to my.
foot? Oh
It was right
hell
next to my
no.
foot, like on my toe.
Wow. Okay. Wow. We're
Oh my God, I'm sorry, headphone users. Holy shit.
Oh, I'll try to edit that and tone that down a
Nah.
little
What you
bit. But
do, you let it spike so that it just like it just
That
like
was actually just
deafens
how
everybody.
excited I am to hear the positive player that Mitch is going to tell us all
Hell yeah.
yeah,
about.
Mitch, who you got for us?
So I won't spoil the list for Mr. Sherman as you're going to post your actual updated
Hmm.
ones, but I will say you should probably add Jakob Poeltl so that there's not a lone Raptor on your list there because Yak's looking
Mm.
washed as hell. To give you a positive spin though, our trio of wings, and I will give Scotty the tag of wing for now, has looked fantastic. Let's start with Scotty. To start open the season, 24, 7, and 6. averaging 2 stocks a game, 53% from the field, 55% from three, taking 3.5 a game. Free throw, 85%, looking
Mm,
fantastic.
that's the big one, yeah.
Most importantly, his back to the basket game has been so on display that he looks like a legitimate power forward again. And I am
Mm.
so happy that there are stretches of possessions where you'll see Scotty on the low block just call for a ball and Ingram will actually hit him and he'll just do a nice little baby hook turnaround instead of trying to take his man off the dribble at the top of the key. Because Scotty, you are not a point guard. You are a bona fide forward, and thank you so much, Brandon Ingram, for opening up actual spacing lanes for this fucking team. The offense between RJ, first of all, like just to put it into perspective, that trio, Scotty's averaging 24, Ingram's averaging 22, RJ's averaging 20. RJ's actually having a resurgence because he's hitting his free throws, 72% from the line. They're all shooting above 40% from three. They're all shooting above 50% from the field. It's beautiful what one singular actual ball handler who can create his own shot can do when you have a guy who can slash as well as Scotty and RJ. Now,
You should have two of those, but unfortunately, the other
if
guy.
if our other person who can make shots ever figures out that he's a multiple 35 plus a game shooter from every other year in his career, if our elite starting point guard could just, for the love of God, make a fucking three-pointer, this
Oof.
team would have been so much better off the start of the gate. Now, again, I'm not going to spoil what other player is shitting the bed because he'll be on your list, but at least Scotty Barnes is looking like an actual all-star again. And I'll say this like wholeheartedly, they might be the best transition team in basketball right now
Oh
because
yeah.
holy fuck, do they get after it?
Oh yeah.
If there's a loose ball, they're diving for that shit. Like their life depends on it. Like if they don't go for every single possession, don't look at the screen. Don't
I'm
look at
sorry. I
this.
just watched Luka
I
Garza
know.
hit a
I
three.
I know. Look, listen. You and your team over there can enjoy whatever semblance of success they have because it's the Scotty Barnes hour right now, okay? Don't interrupt me with Luka Garza. Scotty Barnes will indeed. What happened now?
Josh
What?
Minot just got a fast break dunk and then like landed on his back because he slipped off the rim. He got right up
You've
too.
now
Now this.
listed two of the least important pieces of
Hey,
information that
I'm,
I
I'm
would
just
ever
live
care to
reacting
know in
just the
this
way you
one
are. All right, you're
episode.
over here
All
talking
right.
about fucking I forgot his name. What Marshawn Lattimore. All right. But as
Fair,
far
fair.
as
God
Scotty goes,
damn.
I think the point you made about him looking more like a power forward has been
I'm
the most exciting for me because like the biggest change I've noticed in his game is like he's just getting to the rim more. Like he's playing much less like a perimeter player and playing more like a forward, like you said.
Yeah.
That's the most encouraging sign for
I'm
me.
just glad that he's not being used as a point guard anymore, and that Darko has woken up from his drunken dream or whatever he had of his 6'8", switchable defensive point guard that could
To be
also hit.
fair, Nurse was the first one to play him at the one. All right,
Hmm.
Darko just took that cliff note and was like, "Oh, he did it once. He can do it again." Like,
Yeah, I
and
was really good off of that. That was honestly, I was not high on Scotty coming into the year. He's been better. Still not fully bought in on Scotteth Barnes as a player for a franchise player. I don't know. Scotty's a very weird player to me who I can never evaluate, and my opinion on him changes from month to month.
hmm.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
tough player to gauge. Like he does have a pretty unique skill
Sometimes I
set.
think,
But
wow, he's really, really good, and he's one of the more universally valuable players in the league. And then other nights I go, what the fuck does, like, how do you build a team with this guy as one of your core pieces? So far through the first three games, it's been like, okay, he's been damn good. And I see division with him and Brandon Ingram and RJ shooting really well from the field. I'm not sold on RJ's free throws, though, because 72% through three games is hardly something to be happy about.
oh,
mhm.
that's much better than last year, dude.
The three,
Anything to be
if he's
happy
already at
about.
72% now, usually it's like he starts off high-ish and then it just slowly trickles down.
Last year he started at 55 and brought it up. So you know
Oh,
what?
okay.
I'm gonna
All
be
right.
happy with every like
We're gonna throw a party for
exactly.
72% from the free throw
Well,
line.
to have three players in your starting lineup shoot 40 plus percent from
Yeah,
three on decent volume is pretty damn good.
yeah. Right now, the biggest thing holding them back from unlocking their full potential at the moment is Emmanuel quickly playing like horseshit and Pirtle being one of the worst starting centers in the league.
Yeah, I was
I'd
gonna
say worst
say.
center. I would say worst starting center in the league. There's very little consequence to saying that because he's quite literally been, I'm not gonna say void of production on both ends of the floor,
That's Neemias Queta.
but
Hey, watch your mouth.
but there is nothing to me right now that doesn't say that Jakob's back is still fucked and he's just playing through it, or that
Mm.
he's genuinely just washed. Because there's seeing like if you watched any semblance of Jakob Poeltl last year, I don't blame you if you didn't,
Can't say.
but he still had lateral and horizontal like vertical or mobility to actually keep up with a lot of the bigs in the league. Right off the bat, the dude looks like he's playing through an injury, and I don't know whether that's to point to him having like a crazy regression, him maybe not taking the offseason as serious as he could have once he got paid. He looks like a man who's playing through like a lower lumbar injury. And I don't know if at some point we're going to pull him and, Mamu's going to be like the full-time guy there. I don't know what the real option. I mean, I'm not, dude, he's looked really
No,
good.
yeah, Mamu's been good.
No,
He
dude,
I was
people,
going to
I
say.
one day the NBA, some franchise, hopefully the Raptors are gonna realize that Mamu is a really good, like he's a Nas Reed type backup big where he is a guy who can put it on the floor. He's gonna hit a lot of shots. He can rebound fine. He's not the worst defensively. He's not good defensively, but he's not like an utter eyesore that it's like, okay, you cannot play him on the floor. Like he's not Luka Garza. Sorry to take another Celtics shot,
Oh no,
but
I will not defend
yeah,
Luka Garza
like
at all.
Mamu is a damn good player, and I have some bias because I went to the same school as him. But Mamu is. I've seen too many flashes from him to write out. Like he is a good NBA player, and he
Yeah.
at least deserves to be, have a chance to one day be a Bobby Portis, Nasri type backup big, where he is a legitimate focal point of a bench's offense.
I'll say
His
this. If you go and watch the last like 18 minutes of Mamu on the floor, he held his own against Coop. He held his own against AD. He did a damn fine job of switching out to PJ a lot. Like that was a very sloppy game from Toronto against Dallas in general. But in the minutes where Sandro was switched up against Yak's man, he did completely fine in space. Better than Jakob did in majority of the possessions. So if at any point we say, all right, Mr. Pirtle, go get that back checked out. Sandro, you got the starting job. I would not be opposed to that at all.
I think
Mm.
after that 37-point game he had in like 23 minutes last season, I was completely sold on this dude can get buckets. Is he automatically going to be? Am I saying he's a six man of the year candidate if he's playing right now? If he was playing those minutes, no. But I think he has the skill set and he fits the modern NBA where he's a big that can space the floor, put it on the ground, and he's also a big body that can grab boards.
One thing I think is really funny, just like I'm looking at Jakob Poeltl's
I've been
basketball
waiting for
reference
an
page.
opportunity though to talk about Mamu, so I'm glad that we had this.
Little
I just think it's
segue.
I just always think it's funny when you look at someone's page and you look at their stats, whatever, and you just see straight zero. Like obviously it's been 3 games, he's taken 5 free throws, but he's just over 5 and shows 0% from the line. I just think that's very funny. Mamu, on the other hand, taking the same amount of free throws a game, he has not missed one. So he's 5 for 5.
He's
So
got
yeah,
a
it
very, I
might
know this
be.
sounds weird for like, he has a very unorthodox stroke, but
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is very clean when it
It's a
comes out.
catapult shot.
It's yeah, he's got like that trebuchet where all the energy is like all the way here and then it kind of slings up, but it
Yeah.
goes in.
Did you guys know he went to Montverde?
Yeah, he went to Montverde and
That's
then he played. He was a baller at Seton Hall with Miles Powell.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely remember him
No,
at
yeah,
Seton
but I
Hall
know
for
his whole
sure.
journey because that was the only, that I watched
Did you cross paths
basketball.
with him at Seton Hall?
No, he graduated or he went to or he declared for the draft the year that I was a
Okay,
freshman.
gotcha, gotcha. So you did get
he
to see
might be
Miles
the
Powell then, right?
he might be the per
One of
36
my
goat right now.
one of my friends who I've been friends with since high school, who's a few years older than me, he went to school. He had a class with Sandro
Oh,
Mamukelashvili.
that's sick. Yeah, that's
So
cool.
yeah,
Nice.
that's a good way
Unfortunately,
to wrap up the episode talking about Mamu.
yeah, I think so, honestly. Yeah, shout out to Sandro Mamukelashvili. That'll do it for this episode. Thanks to everyone for listening. Make sure to subscribe to the pod, really helps us grow. Make sure to follow us on all social media at 2for1hoops. And we'll be back with another episode next or at the end of this week. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day.